Hi friends, so we are going to see alter table command today, and we are going to see what all things can be done using alter table. So first would be add column, changing existing column, dropping a column, adding a constraint, dropping a foreign key constraint, and renaming the table. So now what we are going to do is we are going to divide this video into two parts where we shall cover adding a column, changing a existing column and drop column in first part, and in the second part we shall cover adding a constraint, dropping a foreign key and renaming the table. So this video we are going to divide it into two parts. Now without wasting any time, let's get started. So first let's go back to command prompt and check what tables are available so that we can quickly decide on which command to use on which table, right? So let's say show tables. So this is our tables. We have the student table, users table, authors and books. So let's utilize student table and add a column. So just let's describe the student table so that we can recollect all the columns that are available. So what we observe is we have roll number, first name, last name, city, email. But because it is a student, we need to connect this person to a particular teacher or maybe a course or a graduation degree that they are doing. So let's add a column where we want to capture the details of what course are they doing or what kind of degree they are doing. So we'll add two columns over here. So let's quickly understand what is the syntax of this particular alter command. So now we are looking at adding a column. So when we say we want to add a column, the command begins with alter table name. So alter and table, these are keywords. The table name would be something where we are going to modify. So in our situation, it's going to be the student table. Then we use the keywords add column. So add and column are again keywords. Add, column are keywords, and then we need to give the column name, data type. If we want to mention any constraint, so that can go here, right? And then we can also specify something as to at which location do you want to add this column. Okay, so we can say after, okay, this is again a keyword, existing column name. So this is how this works, and you give a semicolon. Okay, so now we will see two examples, one where we do not mention this after and one where we mention this after. Okay, we are going to look at two examples. As I said, we'll enter two columns. So let's get started. We'll say alter table student. Now we want to do is add column, correct? Now we want to add column called as qualification, that is to understand what is their qualification, right? So qualification, let's say varchar, and varchar could be of, let's say, 50 or maybe 100, because if the person enters in full bachelor's in engineering of electronics and telecommunications, so it could be 100 characters, so 100, and we'll call this as not null, right? Now let's look at this. I copy this and I'm going to go to my command prompt. So over here I have this data in place, right? Roll number, first name, last name, city, email, this is there. I'm just hitting enter. You see 0 rows affected, number of records 0, duplicate 0, warnings 0. That means the alter has worked well. Now I need to check whether it actually got added or not. So we need to do the describe again. So you can always use the up arrow key to navigate between the commands, and here you go. So if you will observe what is happening over here, the qualification got added after email. Okay, so let's say I want to add a column called salutation. So at places, females are called as Miss. At places, if they are married, it is Mrs. Some places we have Mr., Master, correct? So we have different options that has been given for the salutation, right? So we want to go ahead and create a salutation column, but that should be immediately after roll number. So as we understood the syntax, that's the same rule that we follow. So alter table student, add column salutation. We can have a varchar of 20 because that's not going to go beyond that. We can have a not null added, and we'll say after roll number. Copy it and check. Okay, so it says query okay, records 0, duplicate 0, warnings 0. Now let's check again whether it actually worked. You see, roll number, salutation. So this is how you can work with add column in the alter command, right? Now let's move to the next command that was there, that is changing existing column. Now what are we doing? We are modifying the existing column. So let's see which table we can utilize. Let me use the table that is users. Okay, why? Because I'll just show you. Describe users. Now user has ID, which has a primary key, but I have missed to add auto increment. So what I want to do, I want to change the ID, which is integer, and I want to give a additional extra of having auto increment. This is one that I want to modify. Second, I want to say in the student table, I want to change the default value of Nasik to be Pune. Okay, so this is what I want to modify. And also considering the names that we will be dealing with, I need to modify the number of characters to maybe 50. Okay, so two things that we are going to do. Let's pen that down so that we can write the queries accordingly. So first, users table, add auto increment. Okay, this is what we want to do. And second, this is first. And second, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and change the cities varchar characters to 50 and default value to Pune, right? So in student change city to varchar 50 and default to Pune. These are the steps that we want to go ahead and do. Now the question is, how can we do it? What is the syntax? So the syntax is pretty simple. You say alter table, where alter and table are keywords. You will give table name, right? And after the table name, we are going to mention the command modify, which is another keyword, column. Column is also the keyword. Now you can mention the column name, the data type, the constraint, auto increment, and semicolon. So all this can be mentioned easily. Now let's have a look at it in practicals. So we'll say alter table, users, modify column id, int auto increment, right? We mentioned this. Now let's just simply copy this and paste. So you see it says query OK. Now let's describe users and check this. So you see in id int, it is a primary key and the auto increment is got updated, right? Now going back, let's look at how can we modify the varchar of the student table and the default to Pune. So the query goes as alter table student modify column. We need to quickly do a describe again so that we can recollect the table columns. City, so column city varchar of 50, and we'll say default as Pune. Quote's important because it's a string. See that? Query OK, and the records are not yet affected. So let's describe student, and you can see that the city has become 50 and the default value has been modified. So this is how we can look at the output. Now let's go back and check the other aspect, that is how to drop a column. So let's first add a dummy column to a table and then see how to drop it. So quickly, let's say alter table student, add column dummy of type integer. So I'm just creating this dummy to see how this works. Okay, my bad, I made a silly spelling mistake, right? So we need to modify that. We'll change student. So the error is pretty evident. It says students doesn't exist because I made a mistake. There's a table called student, not students. Now what we want to do, we want to drop this column dummy. So before we drop, let's do a describe student. So we have the dummy. So what is the syntax to drop the column? So the commands remain the same, alter table, and then we mention the table name, that is student, and then we say drop column and then the column name. So the column name is dummy. So that is how we can simply drop. Now check again the describe. So you'll see that the dummy column is no more. So in the next video, we'll see how to add a constraint, drop foreign key constraint, and rename a table. But before we close, let's look at a small task that we are going to do. So we are going to create a task table that is going to have task ID, title, start date, due date, status, priority, which could be high, low, medium, description, and we are going to perform two alter tables. We are going to add a completed column and drop the description column. So this is a small task that we want you to do it and post it in the comments. Until then, thank you.